I paid a total stranger to move into my house and live my life for 24 hours just to see what my wife does when I'm not there. I thought I was playing a harmless prank, but what the hidden cameras caught was a cold-blooded betrayal I never saw coming. My name is Marcus Hale. For 12 years, Elena had been the center of my universe. We met in high school, built a life together that looked flawless from the outside. Our spacious home in the quiet hills outside Seattle, the backyard fire pit where we used to roast marshmallows on cool evenings, the joint accounts that reflected years of careful planning and my successful tech consulting career. On paper, we were the couple everyone envied. But behind closed doors, something had been rotting away for over a year. Elena had grown distant, her touches mechanical, her smiles never quite reaching her eyes. Conversations at dinner felt scripted and hollow. She spent more and more nights hunched over her laptop, claiming it was freelance graphic design deadlines. But the excuses were thin. One night, I overheard her on a hushed phone call in the garage. "It's almost time. Just a few more moves." That whisper lodged itself in my mind like a splinter I couldn't pull out. Desperation pushed me to extremes. I discovered an agency that operated in the shadows of 2026 technology, a high-end firm specializing in immersive identity replication. They used cutting-edge deepfake prosthetics, neural-mapped voice modulation, and custom gate-correcting insoles. For $50,000, half paid up front, they promised a professional double who could fool even the most intimate observers for a full day. I told myself it was nothing more than a radical social experiment, an expensive way to silence my growing paranoia. If nothing was wrong, I could laugh it off as a ridiculous stunt and never breathe a word to Elena. But deep down, I needed to know the truth. The man they sent was named Alex. He was my height, my build, even shared the same subtle salt and pepper stubble I had cultivated after turning 40. The agency spent 3 full days scanning every inch of me. Retina patterns, vocal nuances, the tiny scar on my left knuckle from a long-ago hockey injury. They fitted him with hyper-realistic silicone overlays that responded to micro-expressions and muscle movements. When Alex finally stepped out of their preparation van and stood before me, it was like staring into a living mirror. He breathed when I breathed. He tilted his head the same way. The illusion was terrifyingly perfect. We established a mobile observation post in a rented utility van parked 2 blocks from our house. Inside, it was a technological nerve center packed with 2026 AI-enhanced surveillance equipment. Microcameras hidden in every light fixture, smoke detector, and picture frame. Thermal imaging that could read body heat and heart rates through walls. Drone feeds disguised as ordinary neighborhood birds. Multiple high-resolution streams fed directly to my secure tablet. Alex wore a nearly invisible one-way earpiece. My instructions were straightforward. Behave exactly as I would, document everything, and abort at the first sign of real danger. I sat in the dim glow of the van's monitors, heart pounding as if I were the intruder in my own life. The evening began at 6:47 p.m. Alex walked through our front door wearing my favorite gray hoodie and carrying my exact duplicate briefcase. I held my breath on the feed. Elena was in the kitchen, chopping vegetables for our usual Thursday stir-fry, the rhythmic sound of the knife echoing through the house. The moment Alex greeted her in my voice, complete with the familiar slight rasp, she paused. Then she turned, and the transformation was immediate. Her posture softened. Her eyes lit up with a warmth I hadn't seen in over a year. She crossed the room quickly, wrapped her arms around his neck, and kissed him deeply, passionately, the way she used to kiss me during the early years of our marriage. Her hands lingered on his chest as she pulled back, smiling up at him like he was the only man in the world. "Hey you," she murmured, voice low and affectionate. "I missed you today." They moved through the evening routine with an ease that twisted something deep inside me. Alex played his part flawlessly, recounting fabricated details from my workday that I had carefully briefed him on. Elena laughed at his jokes, touched his arm casually, poured him a glass of wine without being asked. It felt intimate, genuine, everything our marriage had stopped being. But then, as she turned back toward the stove, she leaned in close and whispered something that froze the blood in my veins. "Phase 3 is green. The account's clear at midnight." Alex didn't react. He simply nodded as if it were ordinary husband and wife shorthand and reached for a beer. But I saw the flicker in her eyes as she glanced toward the hallway security panel, checking it briefly, almost nervously. She was expecting something, planning something. I gripped the edge of my tablet so tightly that the casing creaked. As the night deepened, the house settled into its familiar quiet. Elena went through the bedtime motions, brushing her teeth beside Alex in the master bathroom, wearing my old college t-shirt that fell loosely to her thighs. She even curled against him in bed, whispering, "I love you, Marcus," with a tenderness that felt like a knife between my ribs. Alex remained still until her breathing grew steady and deep. That was when the real Elena emerged. Just after 1 in the morning, the thermal cameras flared to life. She slipped silently from the bed and padded barefoot to the walk-in closet. I zoomed in closer. She retrieved a slim Neuralink headset, the kind reserved for elite crypto operators and those operating far outside legal boundaries. Encrypted, ghost-networked, impossible to trace. She slipped it on, her eyes reflecting the faint glow of the retinal display. "Confirm transfer," she whispered into the void. "Hail joint account 1 through 4. Liquidate to the Cayman shell at 0.3% slippage. Over $2.8 million, our life savings, retirement funds, home equity, even the inheritance from my parents, began flowing into untraceable offshore crypto wallets." I sat paralyzed in the van as the woman I had vowed to cherish forever dismantled our shared existence piece by piece. Moments later, the doorbell chimed once, softly. Elena's expression shifted into something cold and triumphant. She descended the stairs to greet an unannounced visitor, a sharply dressed man in his mid-50s with silver military-cut hair and a briefcase that screamed quiet wealth. They spoke in the living room like longtime partners in crime. No greetings, no pleasantries. He treated our home like a operational headquarters. "Elena," he said, voice clipped and efficient. The final wire cleared. "Your husband's digital identity is now a ghost. We own every footprint. Once the double clears the 24-hour window, we trigger the life insurance rider and the forged will. You'll be a very rich widow by next quarter." She laughed softly, a sound that no longer held any warmth. "He's been so easy. 10 years playing the perfect wife while I drained him dry. The agency was my idea. Test the waters with the double, make sure he suspected nothing before the real swap. He still believes this is love." They reviewed documents from a hidden compartment behind the bedroom mirror. Passports bearing my name but Alex's face, pre-signed divorce papers, falsified medical records, detailed psychological profiles labeling me as the perfect mark. Gullible, low suspicion. Every memory I cherished had been part of her decade-long performance. The vacations, the anniversaries, the quiet nights holding each other. They were all calculated steps in a long con that ended with my erasure. I couldn't remain a passive observer any longer. At dawn, I instructed Alex through the earpiece to push during dinner. He prepared her favorite meal, seared scallops, candles on the table, soft music playing. Halfway through, he leaned forward with concern etched perfectly across his features. "Babe, I checked the joint accounts today. Massive transfers. Strange Neuralink logs on the home server. What's really going on?" Elena's fork clattered against her plate. The color drained from her face. For a moment, the mask shattered completely. "You're not supposed to know," she hissed. "How did you?" Alex stayed calm. "I'm not Marcus, but I know everything. The fraud. The double. The plan to kill him off. Start talking." Her reaction was volcanic, nervous laughter turning into raw hysteria, then tears mixed with fury. 10 years I built this from nothing. He was always the mark. The double was supposed to confirm he was oblivious before we finished it. "You ruined everything." She lunged for a kitchen knife, but Alex disarmed her with practiced precision. That was my cue. I slipped through the side gate and entered through the front door. There we stood in the dining room. 2 identical men, same clothes, same posture, same voice as we spoke in eerie unison. "It's over, Elena." Her scream echoed through the house. We forced her to the bedroom, opened the hidden compartment, and laid out the damning evidence under the bright lights. Passports, insurance policies worth millions, the meticulously forged documents proving my identity was being systematically stolen and replaced. The police arrived within minutes, drawn by the silent alarm I had triggered. Federal agents followed soon after as the scale of the financial crimes became clear: money laundering, identity theft, conspiracy to commit murder. Elena stared at us with hollow eyes as cuffs clicked around her wrists. "I never loved you," she spat at me. "Not one single day." The aftermath shattered what remained of my world. The footage was undeniable. Time-stamped, multi-angle, irrefutable in court. Elena faced decades behind bars. The house sold quickly, the assets frozen and slowly returned. I kept our dog and moved into a small apartment downtown, where the silence at night felt both freeing and haunting. 10 years of memories had been nothing more than a performance, a meticulously crafted lie that had nearly cost me everything, including my life. Alex, the stranger who had stepped into my existence and helped expose the nightmare, refused the remaining payment. We sat together that final night drinking whiskey until sunrise. He later entered a form of witness protection and now consults for law enforcement agencies, training operatives on identity deception. As for me, the divorce is finalized. I sleep with the lights on, always checking the corners of every room. The woman who once shared my bed had been executing a dark, patient plan the entire time, waiting for the perfect moment to replace me entirely. Never trust the person sleeping next to you until you've seen them through someone else's eyes. My double mimicked my every move, yet my wife didn't notice the swap because she was too busy executing a dark secret of her own. This calculated deception exposed a chilling side of her that destroyed our reality forever.